Ezra Levant here in Ottawa. If you're wondering what this very high security gate and fence is, there's a closed circuit camera there, very imposing steel fence, and beyond there, more gates. That is Justin Trudeau's office. This is the entry where he comes in to work in the Langevin block, which is right across the street from Parliament Hill. This is Trudeau's office. And right across the street is our glorious billboard truck. And you can see on it right now our campaign. There's someone slowing down to take a look at it. It's a campaign to oppose Trudeau's appointment the other day of an extreme transgender activist to the Senate on behalf of Alberta. The name of the transgender extremist is Kris Wells, and that's a picture of him there. And for the last 20 years or so, his central mission, his vendetta, I'd call it, is to get children. I'm not talking about adults. What adults do is their own thing. But these are children, including children of tender years, who are at school. He wants them to join what are called gay-straight alliances, which are sexuality clubs in school that are kept secret from parents. And that's the key point, because in these sexuality clubs in school that are kept secret from parents, the kids adopt pronouns. They change their gender. They go by a different identity. They take a new name. And this is the key part. Kris Wells argues that they should have the right to transition medically, to take drugs to change them, hormones to change their sex, and even, God forbid, radical surgery, as if children are born in the wrong body. And you can see why he wants parents kept into the dark. No consent, let alone any knowledge of what's going on. This is so outside the norm for anywhere in Canada, let alone in Alberta. We've launched a campaign called NotMySenator.ca because that man represents absolutely no one other than the fringe transgender extremes. And what's so interesting is that Alberta is one of the few places in Canada that has ever tried to elect a senator. I think BC had it on the books for a while, but I don't know if they ever went ahead with it. But Alberta has a tradition of actually electing senators. Bert Brown was an elected senator going back almost 30 years now. And so what happens is the province of Alberta has these legitimate Senate elections that are held at the same time as municipal elections. So turnout is actually very high. And it's run by Elections Alberta. It is a legitimate, genuine Senate election. And once they're elected, they're called senators in waiting. And they wait for a vacancy to open up. So Alberta has several senators elect. They've been elected. They're just waiting to enter the red chamber, as it's called. And guess what? There are 2 vacancies in Alberta. Well, that sounds like a perfect fit. Take the winners from the Alberta election and put them in the Senate. Trudeau refused to do that. He sent that usurper in instead. There are legitimate senators in waiting who have hundreds of thousands of votes each. When you think about it, if the entire province of Alberta gets to cast a vote for the senator, that's going to be a larger number of people than any individual MP or mayor, really. So these are the most democratically legitimate senators in waiting in the country, and yet Trudeau puts that guy in the Senate instead. Not only is he an extremist ideologically, but it's a slap in the face to the democratic process that Alberta has had for decades. We're here taking this truck around Ottawa. We're starting literally right here at Justin Trudeau's office. We're going to drive around Parliament, the precincts, the Supreme Court, some of the other office buildings, and we're going to let the Ottawa people know it is a weekday, and looking at my watch, it's 9:30 a.m., but you'd think it's still the long weekend. Ottawa is not an early rising city. This is a city of bureaucrats and lobbyists. They don't really get up till the crack of 10. But we're here early, and we're going to be here all day with this campaign, and we actually have another one about another atrocious Senate appointment. What's so exciting is we only launched this campaign over the Labor Day long weekend, and the reason for that is because Trudeau was so obviously embarrassed by his pick, he announced it on a long weekend. Think about that. If you want something to be buried in the news, you announce it on a long weekend. the journalists are on holidays, no one's paying attention. That's what you do to bury a story. Trudeau thought he could bury this story, but we got our petition up quickly. And in just a couple of days, we got more than 20,000 signatures. I think we can get it much higher than that. So we're going to drive this around Ottawa today, and we will return to Ottawa to give the petition either to someone here at the Longueuil block or somewhere else in town. I don't know yet who the appropriate person will be, but we'll do that. But for now, look at the glorious truck. It's parked out here across from Trudeau's office, but now we're going to take it for a spin. So we're going to take that beautiful truck to some iconic places. Parliament Hill behind me, the Supreme Court, over the bridge into Hull, Quebec. And you never know what you're going to find. I got to tell you, you find support in the strangest of places. A couple of guys, medical doctors in town for their reunion came by and said hello. They were super friendly. And I don't want to get anyone in trouble, but some of the security for the Prime Minister himself said they love the truck. Now, I hope Trudeau doesn't take it out on anybody, but I tell you, the working men who guard Justin Trudeau, let's just put it this way, I don't think they're voting for Trudeau. So enjoy this lovely truck as it makes the rounds in our capital city. Let me just say one thing in closing. I wish we had this truck 2.5 years ago during the convoy. Anyway, take a look.
I want to. Do you take a photo of the board? No. Right up.
Over the Labor Day long weekend, Justin Trudeau thought he could sneak in a new senator from Alberta, appointing a radical transgender activist named Kris Wells to the Alberta Senate, even though Alberta had a Senate election and the real winners Trudeau brushed aside. Sign our petition at notmysenator.ca and enjoy as we drive our truck with that message on around this capital city.